Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday evening, wherever you may be in the world or in the country, I should say. So today it's an herbal Q&A. So the point of this is it is a question and answer um series. So if there's any questions that you guys have to ask, you can feel free to ask them in the chat if we have time um to towards the end. Usually I'll open it up for verbal conversation too. But we also put it where we're going to talk about like a certain subject. Today, we kind of did a two-part um, where it's going to be about nervous system health and it's going to also be about hormonal health. I'm mainly going to focus on female hormonal health. But if there's guys here too, I don't mind answering their questions as well, to the best of my knowledge. Um, So yeah, I guess we could just dive right in. It's 6:04. And if anyone else wants to join in, just, to let everyone know, I know a lot of people aren't well versed with using Zoom. So it's good to let people know that I know usually on the older side, but not even on the older side, some people that just don't really understand Zoom or really like using Zoom, you can call in. There's a call-in number that we attach to the email, but if that number for some reason doesn't work, we also attach a link in the email that lets you know that you can search for based on your area of the world, mainly in the US, but I think it's also open to Mexico and Canada that you can call in on your phone. So people that are traveling, or again, people that just don't want to use Zoom over desktop or phone, they can call in, they can dial in. And I see someone saying, hello, everyone. Good evening. Hello and good evening. So we'll just dive in. I'm gonna start with talking about the nervous system because it's something that everyone knows they have a nervous system. You know, everyone's I think smart enough to know that they have a nervous system. Um, and that we know when our nerves are on edge, or we know when someone's worked that last nerve, or if we're feeling nervous or anxious or stressed, our nervous system gets hit. But to understand like a little bit deeper as to why it's so important to take care of your nervous system and just how many functions it has and how many different um, elements, outside elements, and internal elements affect it, and how that imbalance of the nerves and also the lack of taking care of our nervous system can affect every single part of our body. It's, as they say, you should always look at the body as a whole, never as, section by section, because that's not how our system works. And that's why we always emphasize cleansing, because no matter what organ or system you're working on, you have to detox. That is number one, numero uno. So again, we're going to start talking about the nervous system first because it is one of the most vital systems in our body. And just to kind of touch on too the fact that I said, we always emphasize colon health, and some people get tired of it. They're like, yeah, I know, but you have to understand that even our nervous system is affected by that. Um, because anything that's impacting our body is impacting our nervous system. So that also can really have detrimental, effects on our nervous system. And we have a lot of nerves in our colon and in our gut, a lot of nerve endings. So that's why sometimes people that get nervous or anxious or there's very stressful event, they can feel it in their stomach and in their gut. There's this. Everyone has a different sensation, but that's valid because there's a lot of nerves there. All right, so I wanted to talk about this because it's something that I wanted to also refresh myself on because it's something that I myself could be better with. One of the main things that we know can affect it is stress. stress is like that silent killer. It really is, because it's making your body work so much harder than it's designed to. Um, Especially like mental stress, emotional stress, definitely. The tension that we build up in our system. It's probably one of the worst things in our country, one of the worst problems that our country has. And also, just to preface, I know a lot of you know this, but we're not medical doctors at Common Sense Products, so we do not diagnose or treat any ailment. We just give you information about herbs and the reason why they're so helpful for our body and the nutrients that they contain, vitamins and minerals, and the strength and the energy that they hold because they're from the earth. And all of that nutrients that the earth holds and the energy and the strength is going to feed our bodies. So that's what we emphasize. Common sense products. So, okay, again, back to stress. It's something that creates a lot of problems. And just to name a few of them would be, stomach ulcers, poor digestion, even absorption of your food. I know that I have gone to the acupuncturist quite a few times, and she mentioned to me that when you're really upset or really sad, it's really best not to eat at those times. Um, give your body some time to calm down. And, even she didn't say this, but even like, fasting, still giving your body nutrients, but fasting can be helpful, whether that's just for the day or a couple of days, because when your body is under extreme stress or trauma or, grief, it is using that energy to really just try to keep your body going. So when you add food to the mix, it can really weaken your absorption of food, but also your immune system. Your immune system already gets hit when you're going through something very traumatic and stressful. So something to bear in mind. Hypoglycemia is another issue that can come from stress, tension in the body, nervous breakdowns, which I think a lot of people know that, anxiousness, because the nervous system is very intricate. There's a lot of cells and a lot of nerve chains there, and when you begin to not just layer on the mental, emotional, physical stress, and then you go and we search for something to eat that is full of sugar, is processed, which sugar tends to be one of the go-tos a lot of the time. But anything that's just, empty of calories, that just has no life in it, you're just, as they say, you're adding fuel to the fire. So it just like literally inflames the body because you're adding so much mucus forming food to it. So you have to just be very conscious of this. Again, easier said than done. I understand that. But I wanted to read a little bit from this wonderful book. So some of you, sorry, these are all my little tags here. Some of you may know this book, and I'm sorry if it's not showing up. Okay, yeah, it is. Own Your Own Body by Stan Maelstrom. This is someone that my father really, he studied his teachings a lot. And honestly, as I'm revisiting this, because I never read it from front to cover, front to back, because my father was like the walking book of this. So now that I'm reading it on my own, wow, I mean, just about everything that you need to know about anything with the body is in this book, and it's incredible. But there's just a couple little parts that were really fascinating to me. So I wanted to emphasize certain things. So this is, we're still talking about the nervous system. So it just talks about how many physical, chemical, hormonal, anatomical, physiological factors work together in conducting an impulse, coordinating the reception of the impulse, and initiating a proper response. It also says about all parts of the nervous system and the respective nerves are so closely related, interrelated, and interconnected The interference, injury, or severance of any nerve of one system affects all of the others. When I read that too, I thought about how root canals are a really big thing. And I haven't really researched this, but someone had told me that really root canals are super detrimental, can be very super detrimental to our health, because that nerve, like it says here, any nerve that is severed or affected in any way affects every other nerve in the body. And I remember someone telling me that how they dealt with different issues. I don't remember exactly what it was, but when as they were looking and researching into what was going on, they saw that the root canal, an after effect of it, many years later, was causing another issue in their body. And I thought that was really fascinating. So, just things to think of. Okay, this part here was very good. I just talked about this a moment ago. It says about a poor diet with high stress foods creates nervous problems. Sugar, chocolate, alcohol, soft drinks, coffee, tea. And when he says tea, he's talking about non-herbal teas. White flour are notoriously damaging to the nervous system. Stress and nervous tension, worry, and anxiety manifest themselves in physical warnings such as headache, fatigue, etc. And drugs may cause nervous difficulties, lack of sleep, another one that I'm guilty of sometimes. Lack of sleep and exercise takes its toll in disrupting the nerves, whether it is being sluggish, nervousness, or just feeling under par, not feeling 100%. Overwork is also hard on the nerves. So he talks about how following the Vital Life diet, diet is a diet he really talks about in this book a lot, has a lot to do with just a lot of greens and a lot of raw foods. He emphasizes the importance of raw foods. He says you should eat 75 to 100% of your intake of food should be raw. So he said the following Vital Life diet is a primary requisite in combating nervous ailments. Plenty of rest and good exercise in the fresh air are beneficial in building up the nervous system. Things also like massage therapy does wonders for the nerves. Enemas are really good, high enemas specifically, and herbal laxatives. So, like I said at the beginning, people say, well, how would working with my colon help my nervous system? Well, there's the evidence right there. Every system of the body is polluted by a bad sewage system, as my father would say. So among these herbs, because I know you guys are going to want to know, what can we take that can help? So among the herbs that he suggests in this book, he lists many of them, but I'll name some of the ones that we have in our combinations. So for instance, catnip, blue cohosh, valerian root, ginseng, cayenne, which is capsicum, which is also red powdered pepper, wood betony, gotu kola, and also herbs that are really good for oxygenating the body. So all those that I just named, also amongst those for the bloodstream that he says it's really good to, and the adrenals to address is licorice root, hawthorn berries, valerian, catnip, skullcap. We actually have skullcap. We do sell skullcap by itself. Incredible herb. Which I know a lot of people think of skullcap is only good for working with the nerves below the waist. Some people have even said it helped with the blood pressure, but as you can see, he's also saying it's very good for the adrenals. And all the other ones that I listed, those also can be found in the nerve control product that we have, and also our Head Start combination. Two products that I just never go without, honestly. Nerve control I take mostly at night just to help with getting deeper, better sleep. And the Head Start, I just take that all the time because we need our brains to be at 100% at all times. And the brain is a central nervous system. So any herbs that work on the brain are gonna really help to control all the other nerves in our system. And the cleaner you can get the brain, as my father would talk about how much mucus is on the brain. It's true, all of that creates a literal cloud, but it affects the receptors, the nerves, receptors in the brain. So we may think, some people also think that's not interconnected about the mucus being on the brain, affecting the nerves, but it does. Any kind of disruption, any kind of blockage is going to affect brain health and nerve health. So they're really one and the same. So like I mentioned a moment ago too, is that he notes here in the book, oxygen into the system is important, as is the development of an optimistic mental attitude. So that is something that we also, well, even myself, can work on at times. My father would say, which maybe he got the concept from this book, he would say, every cell of your body is eavesdropping in on your thoughts. And it's true. I think of it in the sense of, it's like when you hear a sad song, right? Or if you watch a sad film, instantly it affects your mood because what you're seeing in front of you, what you're hearing, your body doesn't really know the difference between, I want to say your body, but your brain. There's a part of the brain, and I had this down really good before, but they say it doesn't know how to distinguish what's real from what's not, especially something visually. As far as your brain goes, it's happening in real time. So, being aware of those things too, they always say not just what you consume in the mouth, but what you consume by what you watch, what you listen to, who you're around. It all feeds your body, and the energy that you absorb is so important to be conscious of, especially for your nervous system. Um, Another part that I found really interesting in the book here too, he does touch on depression. He also touches on schizophrenia, but the main one I want to talk about is depression. So he says in the book, depression is often caused by too much meat, eating too much meat, too much protein, and especially too many sweets, which along with meat can be addictive to the depressive individual. But it is critical that the depressive stay away from sweets. Sometimes even fruit is too much for him. Fasting can be helpful, preferably water or vegetable juices. Lots of enemas are good for mental problems. And, of course, he talks about drugs and toxins in the body build up and create that as well, create that environment. And I mentioned a little while ago about him saying that the adrenal glands need to be addressed when it comes to nervous system issues. And he listed licorice root, hawthorn berries, chamomile, valerian root, catnip, skullcap. Um, we do have licorice root in our blood builder. Another really, really great product. And hawthorn berries, of course. We have in a couple products, but we have that in our cardio help. And licorice is amazing. Things like licorice, dandelion, yellow dock, burdock, clean up, help with the bloodstream. And they help oxygenate the blood because he talks about oxygen being very important. And it really is. It really is because those cells need that oxygenation. It helps them to function better, especially the brain cells. So all of these things are probably things a lot of you guys know, but it's good little reminders. Okay, so then there's a part here that I also wanted to share with you. But, just to emphasize, working with herbs that work with the nervous system, like I mentioned, the nerve control, I absolutely love that product. You get so much in there, valerian, hops, passion flower, catnip, skullcap, just to name a few. There's a couple more in there. And the one thing too that I like is, I believe it actually can help with healing the nerve sheath, which is the protective layer around the nerves. So it's an incredible product. And I'm sure there's many other herbs, even the ones in the product that we have in Nerve Control, do address helping to heal the nerve sheath. But I know hops is one of those that's known to help with that. Okay, and then I also wanted, oh, just again to emphasize, it's Q&A, so any questions you guys have, you can leave it in the chat. And if you do want to say it verbally, that's totally fine. Just let me know and I can unmute you because I don't think you guys have the ability to do that, but you might. So I can unmute you guys. All right. Let's see here. Oh, another thing, and this is something that is a bit hard to completely avoid that affects the nerves, is the pesticides and the herbicides and the chemicals. Not just on our fruit because in our vegetables, which we know is there. I mean, yes, organic is better. Unfortunately, there are even some people that just pay to have the organic label. You do the best you can. You know, if you can plant some, even if you can plant a couple in your backyard or on your patio or on your deck, what like some people create, excuse me, some people create little mini gardens even in apartments, and it's just those I don't know the exact name, but they're things you hang that you can that drop down in the soil. You can start planting seeds and different things just so it kind of minimizes those chemicals we're consuming. And also, like I said, aside from fruits and vegetables, the chemicals that are on, or I should say in, that are in anything like chips, anything in the bag, it's super salty. Junk food just has so many chemicals in it and so many other things that they are not even uh, permitted to label. So all of that like instantly gets into the bloodstream and it instantly reaches the brain, you know. So I know we love to stop at the gas station sometimes and get our goodies, but take your snacks along with you. Take snacks that you've bought from somewhere that you know are healthier. Get your veggie and fruit snacks and bring them on the road with you. Because it'll also help you to have a little bit more energy while you're driving too. Because yeah, anything with all those chemicals, the table salt is just about the worst. It creates table salt and sugar can create a lot of hypertension. And like I mentioned earlier, it also can create headaches, fatigue. Um, so you want to get real salt. And we don't, and the thing is too, when you get better quality salt, and I know Celtic salt isn't a thing that's really big right now. I haven't tried it myself, but I am interested in trying it. I use Himalayan salt. I know there's controversy about that too. Again, it's hard because you don't source it yourself, but you just try to pick the better options. But the point I was going to make about that is the fact that you use less salt when you're using salt that hasn't been processed to death, like table salt. We're meant to have salt. Like salt is healthy for our body. We need it. You know, it has minerals, it carries minerals. But at the level that we are consuming salt in all these packaged goods and at the table, like at restaurants when you're just loading that on, it's so bad. It's so bad. Because also a lot of the minerals have been just completely stripped of it, out of it. So like I mentioned, sugar is a big one. And something that I relearned again was how when you eat sugar, it lowers the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which we need that. It's very important for digestion. Um, so when that happens and it's way, way, way lowered by the sugar we're consuming, can cause chronic gas. It can cause indigestion, bowel problems, which, part of that could be constipation, headaches again. And it also lowers our ability to absorb iron. So people that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know, a lot of people that are affected by anemia. one thing you should definitely ask them is how much sugar are you consuming? And not just how much sugar are you consuming, but what is your diet like on a normal basis? Because there's sugar in things that they're eating and they don't realize it. So it really lowers, ability to absorb iron and calcium. So it's stealing calcium from all the places that we need it, our bones being one of them. And sadly, a lot of these things can progress to something worse, like muscular twitching, even heart disease. We know that, about salt affecting the heart. Um, but yeah, different bone diseases, nerve diseases, nervousness, all these things. So sugar's no good. Sugar is no good. The processed sugar is no good. It's different. And we talked about this in our live Q&A the last time, so some of you guys might remember, but it's different when you're eating a fruit that contains natural sugar and the way that it's broken down and the fiber, all of that works together so it's not like spiking in your body the way that processed sugar does the minute you ingest it. Someone here, I think, is asking a question. Hello, thanks for this class. Welcome. Which herbs can we grow at home that can help the nerves? Well, definitely like a lot of the ones that are in our nerve control, the catnip, people think about that for their cats, but it's a great product. You might attract some cats, so maybe don't have it in your front yard, but in your backyard. But catnip is really, really good. Valerian, passion flower, hops, valerian root. I think I said that already. Sorry. Um, oh my gosh, skullcap. I don't know. Yeah, skullcap, definitely. The list is endless. Chamomile's great. I drink chamomile tea all the time. So yeah, like I mentioned, the nerve control, the head start, the chlorophyll, the blood builder. The blood builder is great. All those are very good for working with the nervous system. So as far as the products that we have. Okay, so we will move along to the hormonal side. Like I said, I did lean this more towards women, but if there are any questions for men's hormone health, I probably will touch on that a bit as I go along. But for hormonal health, this is a big one because, from the day you're born to the day you die, working on your female system is so important. Um, and it's kind of unfortunate that it gets looked over as women get older. Um, and then once they get into that age where they no longer have a cycle, it kind of just gets kind of pushed to the side. And that's like the time where I think you should really be on it even more with what you're taking and what you're eating for hormonal health, because it's still a part of your system. Yes, things have changed, but you're still a woman and you still have female hormones and you still need to cleanse. You actually need to cleanse your female system even more so because you don't have that monthly house cleaning every month. You gotta really, really be aware of your diet for sure. Someone's asking, it has been my understanding that diabetes is really from dirty blood. What does the blood builder and the parasite herb do for one's health? I'll answer this real quick before we go on to hormonal. Um, I don't doubt that dirty blood definitely can contribute because dirty blood, toxic blood it affects every single part of our system. Every single part. I mean, you can see that if you're someone who's sensitive to when you eat sugar and all of a sudden you feel really tired or you go into the food coma afterwards, it's because once it got into your bloodstream, it just wipes you out because the body's like, oh, I gotta like really work now for me to clean this out. It affects your whole attitude too. Some people get very irritable. And yeah, I mean the sugar, the toxins from dairy products, all those things. And oh my goodness, the word's escaping me, but energy drinks, caffeine, so cleaning up the blood for any ailment you're working on is super, super, super important. And what does the blood builder do? Blood builder cleans the blood. It helps to clean, it helps to build iron. We spoke about it a little while ago. I don't know if you were on. Oh yeah, you were on. We were talking about it, but helps to build up the iron in the blood. Um, it does have some green in it too because it has spirulina. It has more than just spirulina as a green, but spirulina is just known as a really powerful superfood. And it's the amount of vitamins and minerals in that is just beyond anything. So I take the blood builder, but I also add spirulina even to my drinks every morning. It's incredible. Um, and the parasite herb, what does it do for one's health? Well, we actually spoke about this quite a bit last time. Parasites are everywhere in our system. If you are eating any kind of meat, and not just red meat, not just chicken, not turkey, even fish, and if you're eating sugar too, they feed on waste, and they are naturally in meat. They just naturally are. You know, you can't really avoid that. I'm sorry, someone just said, how do you turn the volume up? I can barely hear. I don't know if you're listening on your phone or if you're listening on your laptop. I turned my volume all the way up, but I don't think that really makes a difference for you guys. Or you could try going out and coming back in if you like. Sometimes, these things glitch and act funny. Um, but yeah, so something, I won't go too deep into the parasites because I know we did talk about that the last time, but they still oxygen from the body. So, everything seems so similarly related what I'm talking about, but it's true how that oxygen in the body, those parasites steal that, and that affects your system. And they live in the gut, they're in the brain, it can affect the memory when they're in the brain. And just like even your reflexes as well. Um, and in the gut, I mean, we just don't want parasites living in our body. We just don't. It speaks for itself. It's a parasite. It's feeding, it's stealing life in some way, shape, or form. And we already steal enough minerals and vitamins by the foods that we eat. So we don't want any friends, unwelcome, uninvited friends, taking more from our body. How can you expand on how hypoglycemia can be affected by stress? Well, it really, when you get down to it, just keeping it really basic, is that when our body is under stress, our nervous system is under stress, and every single organ in our body depends upon the nervous system. I mean, it's getting signals all the time, right? Um, it is either creating the tension in the organs or it's relaxing. It's kind of like, think about when there's some threat to your body or to your person. What starts happening? You start hyperventilating. Your nervous system is sending these signals to your lungs. I mean, your whole body, but the breathing is affected. So, and it becomes constricted and it becomes harder, and you have to make more of an effort to breathe. So, same thing goes for our other organs, or like our heart. Our heart starts pounding. So it's making your body and your organs work harder than they are designed to. It's sending all these signals. It's like you could almost think of like the wires being crossed. It's trying to balance you back out, but if you are not actively trying to reduce your stress, it's just always in this heightened state of tension. Just it's always going to be. Let's see. Do you need to use charcoal to pull out parasites? Charcoal could be helpful because charcoal absorbs toxins and parasites want to eat up the toxins. So yeah, charcoal could be helpful. Definitely. Um, it's a great um product, charcoal. It's actually on sale right now. You can buy one, get one free at the moment. Um, but the charcoal, always do your super lax. I know some people don't want to hear this, but and the super para cleanse, of course. The para cleanse is the herbs that really help to kill parasites and help to kill their anything they leave behind, the larva, any of their babies. But when you're taking those things together and you're taking the Superlax, like I said, some people don't like to hear this, but you might see them come out in your bowel movements, but better out than in. So um, definitely, definitely keep that in mind if you go on to venturing with a parasite detox. It's very helpful. So taking herbs in combination on a regular basis improves overall health. So taking herbs every day is okay, or should you take for a number of days and then give your body a rest and start back? I know my father, he would always say you can take like that day off during the week. You can pick a day. It really boils down to if you are consuming the minerals and nutrients in your everyday life with what you're consuming, what you're eating, what you're drinking, there wouldn't be a need to have to take, a lot of pills, herbs, but in pill form, um, because you're getting it in your system. But I'm somebody that I just do take them every day, and I take different teas and different drinks. But I take mine every day because I felt such a huge difference. Because again, our food supply is so depleted, and also our environment is so depleted, especially living in a big city, and we're exposed to so much radiation, just our phones alone. All these things contribute to affecting how we absorb vitamins, minerals, and pulling and even taking away what's there. So you can take breaks here and there. It's really personal preference, though. It's really a personal preference. No problem. All right, I like it. You guys are asking a lot of questions today. I love this. Um, so we'll go on to hormonal health. We'll talk a little bit about hormones, but keep putting your questions in. Don't feel like you're interrupting. Just put them in. And I will kind of give you guys a little bit about the female hormone system and how to keep everything going strong. Um, Again, not to seem like I'm just saying the same thing all the time, but body is simple. We are what we eat. What you eat as a woman, as a man too, though, affects your hormones big time. Especially for women that are still in their, menses time. What you eat before is very crucial. And I know cravings become stronger when that time of month is coming, even for myself sometimes. It's like you want something sweet, but it's that temporary boost if you're eating something that is processed sugar sweet. Um, Really, when you're consuming something like fruits or protein, which people think that you only can get protein from meat, even though I know that has changed a lot over the past couple of years. People have learned more and more. Those things actually sustain you better before that time comes, before the menstrual comes, and during. So, eating things like quinoa, chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans, um, kidney beans, almonds, gosh, it goes on and on. Sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Corn is actually good if you can find good non-GMO corn, which is hard. Even bread is good too, but the right bread. The right kind of bread that's not been the wheat hasn't been affected. It's hard. Ezekiel bread is another really, really nutritious, when it's sprouted um, grains, that's better. So things of that sort, you can get your protein from. And this whole concept too of, during that time comes and that time of month comes, the PMS, the mood swings, or even for women that are premenopausal, going through all these crazy symptoms, it's really actually not natural. It's telling you that there is an imbalance. There's a lack of vitamins, minerals, In this book here that I have, he specifically says it's a lot to do with being deficient in vitamins A, B, and C, which again, we really emphasize the fact that you get your fullest amount of vitamins from the plant that they derived it from. So, the herbs that the herbal combination we have, daily maintenance is full of all of those vitamins and more, and so many more of our products, like even the blood builders, very good. But yeah, those symptoms you get of the being, premenopausal or premenstrual, we have to really look at what we're not consuming as far as the right herbs, the right fruits, the right vegetables that give us these things. And also what are we eating as far as dairy products? Um, again, of course, sugar, white flour, white rice, white pasta, and a good old cheese, we just love. It's really one of the worst because this is something, that my father always spoke about, and it's true, in the uterus, you can hold a really big baby, 9, 10 pound baby. So when we become impacted in the colon and not fully eliminating every day the way we should be, even those that are on a healthier path, still sometimes the colon is not fully eliminating all that it should. The uterus will hold on to waste. It will hold on to a lot of waste. It has the room. So it said, well, I can store some here. And then we have even more issues with discomfort, pain, and just the list of female issues is on and on and on. So, okay, again, I wanted to share with you guys a little excerpt because, as I'm talking with you, I'm also learning and refreshing my my brain with all of these things. But we had some really good information here. Mental health. Oh, I apologize. I did not let somebody in the meeting. Sorry about that. Okay. I just start talking and I can't stop. Okay, so this part was really, really interesting to me. So it says, women who follow a complete nutritious diet rich in vitamins and minerals and adhere to a sensible health regimen can strengthen the reproductive system, stabilize emotions, and experience minimum difficulty with period changes and hormonal transitions. The irritability, the tension, the low energy, the water retention, often seen in premenstrual and menopausal periods, are a result of alterations in the basic body chemistry. They can be combated by natural remedies. An abundance of vitamins and minerals and food essentials that can be thoroughly assimilated for health at all times are doubly important for the women prior to the menses and preparatory for and during menopause. So a diet high in proteins, like I mentioned, is highly recommended for women, not only as a tissue builder and repair, but as an energizer, because that's something that definitely we feel is the energy change. Contrary to popular belief, sugar and sweets give that temporary energy, whereas the proteins and fruits furnish a more lasting effect. Let's see here. Getting this really intense glare from where I'm sitting right now. So I lost my spot there. So yeah, during glandular readjustment, menopausal obesity, due to the body's decreased ability to handle carbohydrates, often develops. It may be helped by a high protein, low carbohydrate diet. So the herbs like glucohash, golden seal, squaw vine, dandelion root, bayberry bark, capsicum, ginger. Capsicum again is cayenne, which is red pepper, powdered red pepper. And I mentioned ginger. So pretty much all of the ones that I just mentioned are in the PMS combination we have. The PMS, the FF2, which is our female formula number 2, and It also said golden cell, which we sell golden cell by itself also. Um, and dandelion root, which is in quite a few of our products, the blood builder and maintenance being two of them that it's in. So working with, oh, and of course raspberry leaf. Working with herbs like those are really helpful. And as you mentioned here, because there's always this hesitation and the skepticism that I encounter with women that are in the menopause age or past that, and they're just like, well, why do I need to take that if I don't have? And it's just about nourishing the hormones, giving your body the right hormones in order to be energized. Our hormones, especially as women, play an even bigger role in our bodies. And it's just like your energy, your strength, um, your overall well-being comes from your hormones being balanced and nourished, no matter what age you are. And again, emphasizing you still have all your female parts there, and and I know some women don't, but it's cleaning up those systems so you don't have a problem later on. Let's see, someone's asking, do you think taking the recommended dose of 8 PMS helps with menstruation system, or would we be able to take less a day? Also, should we take it daily or only right before and during menstruation? I take it all the time. Sometimes I feel, honestly, for myself, taking more beforehand helps me so much. Um, yeah, it's a lifesaver, honestly. So taking them beforehand is so important. You know, you don't want to wait until that time comes when you're already like, oh, dying. And I take more than what's suggested. There's always room for that. You have to find what works for you. Um, some people, the suggested amount is perfect. And if you find that taking less still helps you, that's okay. But for myself, I take more. I believe that with all that's done to our food now, especially with um, meat products and meat, they add hormones. There was actually a study done. I don't remember exactly where it was, what country, or actually I believe it was in this country. I don't remember the state though, and they measured when young girls would start um, their menses, eating different kinds of meat. I think ones that did fish, it was like they were delayed by about 6 to 7 months. But all of the ones that eat meat started earlier. I think especially now because there's so much added, not just the hormones that are added, but oh gosh, toxins, the shots, um, the way that the animals are even, treated, it releases more hormones and more stress hormones in their body. So that affects us. So I've noticed if I do have meat, which usually it's like chicken or something like that, and I really try not to do much of that. I try to, it just really bothers my system. So be aware, watch what you're eating before that time comes. Really watch, and you'll notice the difference. And with dairy products, I mean, it comes from the animal, so that it's just loaded with excess amount of hormones that nobody needs. Nobody needs in their system. So I hope that answered that question. um, yes, and so let's see here. There was another part that I wanted to read with you guys. I highlight so much in this book, but I don't want to overwhelm you all. But I talked about raspberry leaves. Raspberry leaves is in the PMS, and also red raspberry tea. Red raspberry tea that is actually red raspberry. So for the longest time, I didn't realize that red raspberry tea at the store, I think it's the Bigelow brand, and there's other ones. It's raspberry flavoring, so it's not the actual raspberry leaves that you want. It's pretty mind-boggling. Um, so getting the raspberry leaves is really good for a tea. It's very, very good. It helps with cramping. It helps with mood, and it's just really soothing. It even helps because men can actually take red raspberry too, so they don't think it's just for women. It's good for removing mucus in the body, amongst many other things. But it's okay, so I wanted to also talk about this part here in the book. It says because uterine problems such as inflammation, discomfort, and pain may be attributed to accumulation of waste matter in the intestines through cleansing of the colon, cannot be overemphasized. Thorough cleansing of the colon cannot be overemphasized. Some of you might already realize that when you do eliminate, it gives you relief. It's a reason for that. I mean, everything is very close to each other in that area of the body as is. But again, it's that menstrual as a monthly house cleaning. And if you're not cleaning your colon properly, and again, during that time, women tend to want to eat more things and bad things that we're craving. So you're just adding fuel to the fire already. Um, Another thing here that he talks about is menstrual problems are often caused by poor diet, lack of proper exercise, and poor circulation to the affected parts. So circulation and activity is so important as well. And again, not just for women that are menstruating, but outside of that as well. It says that also if you have a late menstruation, like it comes late, it's due to a couple factors that can be coupled with constipation, lack of fresh air, and sunshine. We get a lot of minerals and vitamins from that sun, guys. Gotta get out there in the sun. Um, and so let's see, it also talks about how profuse menstrual flow can actually be accompanied by other problems such as liver or kidney problems. So never hurts to do kidney and liver cleanses, which of course we have our liver build product, we have our kidney health. And if you are someone who does deal with excessive flow, it does talk about barberry, which is also in the PMS. Cayenne again. Cayenne is just one of those power herbs. Ginger, which is also in the PMS. Even white oak bark. And we do have white oak bark in our astringent formula. Astringent formula is another great combination there. You can even do daily enemas. I know that's something that's hard for a lot of people to do. I myself have personally never done an enema that I know of. But I've done colonics, and colonics are really, really good. I think someone was asking about, oh, the author of the book. The author of the book, his name is Dr. Stan Malmstrom. If I'm correct, I believe he was previously a doctor in the medical field. He has a lot of great books out there. Hard book to find, but I would just look around. I'm sure it's there. Someone's reselling it. Okay. They even talk about how comfrey is really good. We have comfrey salve. We have a cream that can be applied externally. It is hard to find the internal one that you can take, but I know it's out there as well. My father really, really loved comfrey. It's one of those herbs that's so powerful. Okay, and just for someone out there that might need this information, for women that are in pregnancy, a healthful lifestyle will prevent many problems of pregnancy. During that time, the mother should watch her diet closely, staying away from junk foods. She can drink red raspberry tea as well. He talks about the benefits of vitamin E. Eat plenty of sprouts, alfalfa, ginger, ginseng is really helpful. And then also for people, there might be someone out here, for conceiving, that are having problems conceiving, it needs to really be both people the man and the wife that are working to clean up their system and their diet. Um, changing the diet, he says here, changing the diet coupled with plenty of exercise and rest, and alleviation of anxiety and mental stress. Because all these things, the stress, the anxiety, it affects our hormones, especially as women, but for the men as well. That he's saying that it should bring favorable results. And, we've had many people that have issues with conceiving, and even if they didn't per se really work on their diet, um, which we always emphasize anyway. Um, Working with the PMS, the FF2, the superlax, the lymphatic health. We have a lot of lymph nodes. We talked about the lymph nodes last time, how important they are. The lymph nodes really need to be cleansed for both the man and the woman. Pardon me real quickly while I switch seats, so I'm not looking like heaven is calling me up with that light shining down. But yes, it's a lot. There's a lot of things that need to be done for both partners when it comes to that. Okay, someone said, you said red raspberry leaf helps with mucus as well. Yes, I did. Lingering cough as well. Actually, it could be. It could be, because it does work with mucus. Another good one is mullein. We carry mullein by itself in pill form. Mullein tea is also good. So, yeah, I would definitely give it a try. And even teas like chamomile, because anything's gonna help to relax the lungs. That's also helpful too. So you can give that a try. Are these sessions recorded and where can they be found? This one is recorded actually. So we are gonna have it for those of you who do want it. We'll have a link that we'll share with you. So I'm gonna note your name down, but what would be good is if you could shoot us an email afterwards and just let us know that you would like a link to the last Q&A. That way we have your email and we can send it to you. What do you recommend for bloating? I'm taking Paracleanse. Paracleanse can be good because yes, again, there are a lot of parasites in the gut. There are, but you have to do the superlax. So I don't know if you are, because if you're talking about bloat, that means there's pockets of gas in your stomach that it's trapped, and that it needs it needs the roughage to help move. It needs roughage, it needs hydration as well. So drinking lots of water is so important. Guys, water, water, water. It's your best friend. Water that you drink, but also water that you consume in fruit. You can't replace that clean water and fruit. So yes, the superlax. If you're someone who's really hard to move, even with superlax, you can add the mullein. You can add the mullein to it, because what happens is we have a lot of mucus, hard waste, plaque-like waste, which is mixed in with the mucus in our colon, and you need something to help soften it to make it more pliable that it'll move. And that's also too where the pardon me, I have to make sure I finish write down her name. You need that hydration to move things. So it's a lot of different parts to it, but it comes down to elimination, and that's what's gonna help with bloat. And of course, things like ginger are really good to help with gas. Um, Also be aware, it's something that I have to be aware of. Be aware of how you're mixing your foods, combining your foods. I actually want to I think it would be good if we did one on that one time about food combining, because I'm even learning more and more about that as we go along. Oh yes, And someone said charcoal. Yes, charcoal is another good one for bloat. Yes, that is right. Charcoal's very good. Make sure with charcoal you do drink a lot of water because it does expand. But charcoal is very good. But just drink good amounts of water when you do the charcoal. Yes, definitely. What is the difference between FF2 and PMS? And someone said Mullen, Mullen, Mullein. Yeah, Mullen, yes. So the difference between FF2 and PMS, FF2 has two herbs in it. It has squalvine and it has wild yam, which are a couple of the herbs I mentioned that were in the book. And the PMS has a combination of many, some of them that are in there like cascara, Damiana leaves, barberry, red raspberry, ginger, but there's one more, a capsicum, of course. And so you're getting different herbs in both of the combinations. I personally take both. I take a little bit more of the PMS on a daily, but I do take both of them. FF2, we will generally suggest with women that might be having more severe female issues, but even if you're not, you still can take it. It's just another way of aiding your female system. Also women that have dealt with hot flashes really like the FF2. Um, and yeah, it just helps to balance the system. So both really great products. And then definitely like if you're past that point of menstruation, taking them both together is really, really good stuff. Oh, good. You gave me your email address. Perfect. Miss Gwen. Okay, I'll note that here. So, yes, I think if nobody has any more questions, we can call this a night, you guys. It's 7:05 here, but this is good. Glad that you all enjoyed this and you had a lot of questions today. Oh yes, Kate said, I have taken both during menopause, very helpful. So she's taken both of them during menopause and she really likes them. Oh, I got another email. All right. Just put those emails in there, guys. I'll note them down so we have a little tally here of who wants the link. Yeah, you'll only be able to access it if we send you the link. So I will put you down as well, Miss Latonia. But yeah, so we're gonna have another one of these. Um, we we know that the holiday is coming, so there won't be one that week for sure, but we'll let you guys know when there's another one coming. Just to let you all know as well, on July 4th, which is a Thursday, and July 5th, which is a Friday, we will be closed in store. You can, of course, still make your orders online, but the physical store will be closed, so no packages will be going out those days, not until we reopen on Monday, which I believe is the 8th of July. So just let you guys know that. And right now, up until July 4th, we do have a special on the activated charcoal, which is buy one, get one free. So you could order it online or in the store with us. And yeah, we have that little sale going on at the moment. Okay, I got another email here. So yeah, if oh sorry, this chat is like kind of delayed, I think. Someone's asking, should I take both as my hormonal imbalance is coming from adrenal fatigue? You can take both. But I would also suggest the blood builder. Because I know as we were talking earlier from the book too, talks about how licorice root is very beneficial and licorice root is in the blood builder and other herbs that are in that combination are really good for the adrenals. So I would suggest to take them together. You can take them together, the two female ones together, plus the blood builder. It's really good. It's very good. Just making sure I note down this email. If I don't get, if you guys put your email in here, I only got 3 of them, but if you put it in here and the session ends, just feel free to send it to our info@commonsenseherbs email address. So I don't want to miss any of you. Okay, guys, thank you. Great session. All right, I think yes, my cortisol is low. Yeah. And I don't know you personally, or maybe I do know you personally, Veronica, but I have a feeling stress may be a factor. Talking about cortisol is low. Yeah, really, you know, don't underestimate deep breathing. I need to do more of it myself, but deep breathing or just grounding, you put your feet on the earth just to balance. Even that helps balance hormones. And of course, calms down your nervous system, but it calms your hormones. It grounds you. It grounds you. And that's what hormones help to do. They help to balance and ground. So it is very, very, very important, you guys, to find time out of your day, even if it's 10 minutes in just silence. It makes a huge, huge difference. Okay. So the last email that I noted down was from Javon. So I'm going to stop there. So anyone else who wants the link, just send us an email to our info@commonsenseherbs.com and we can get that to you. All right, and Vita said, I take both PMS and FF2. I'm past menopause. Yes. FF2 PMS together, guys. It's the combination to have. All right. This is great. Hope you all enjoyed it. And we will be back. Stay tuned to be continued. And we'll, just keep an eye out for your emails and we will let you all know. Have a lovely 4th of July, whatever you may do, and just have fun. Eat some good food, but try to make some of it healthy and take your Superlex. All right, guys, have a good evening. Talk soon.